Oh, yes, the football season is back and Sunderland are massive. New manager and promotion just well could happen. Welcome to Where Black Cats Walk on Terrace Talk, and we have got a stellar lineup for us this season. Twitter is missing some Sunderland giants for half an hour a week because we're going to borrow them to talk all things Sunderland on a Sunday evening. We are joined by Leo, Cal, and Dylan, and some other faces along the way as well. It's really hard to know where to start with Sunderland because it's such a massive club. But thank you all for joining us on Terrace Talk. Leo, we'll start with you. How's the summer been for Sunderland overall, in a sentence?
I mean, you may as well just ask how the last 3 weeks of summer have been, because absolutely nothing happened until the last 3 weeks. No manager for, I think it was 120 days or something like that. Probably the longest we've ever been without a manager. But there is a thing in that we took so long to get the right person through the doors. Because, I mean, last season was, we won't talk about the one that was in charge then. Being a couple names through the door, only one that I can potentially see being a regular in the first team in Alan Brown. Other two seem to be squad players or youth players. And still looking for a striker. There's been a statement yesterday from Alexandra Mendy about he felt like he's been treated wrongly by the club he's at now, and said he's known his location. And I know we're one of the teams that are in for him. I don't know whether he's talking about us or the other teams, but we need a striker through the door if we want any chance this season.
It feels like if you look back at Terry's Talk videos last year with Jack, we joked a lot about Sunderland strikers, and here we are, still 12 months on. Cal, we'll talk more in future weeks about individual signings, but how impressed or unimpressed have you been with Speakman and crew?
It seems to be a bit of a walking joke with Speakman, I think. He's had some decisions right. I think as a director of football, he's only being led by whatever budget's available. Do I think he's got the final say on signings? Yes. And that's, I think, the worrying thing that we've seen all Sunderland fans since, Alex Neil, Mowbray, the used car salesman, Michael Beale that came in. I think we've all seen that none of those managers have had their say on signings. It'd be interesting now. I mean, we do have a decent French contingent in the squad. Can G. Lebris get the best out of them? That's yet to be seen. So I don't know. I think time will tell, I guess.
You mentioned Lebris there, Dylan. I suppose no Sunderland fan will pretend to have heard of him before now. But what do we know about him so far from what you've seen in pre-season? And is there things to get excited about?
I think there's definitely things to get excited about. It's always sort of results-wise, take things with a pinch of salt when it's pre-season. I mean, obviously we had the 2-2 against Marseille yesterday, which looked great on paper, but I remember a couple of years ago, Accrington Stanley beat them 2-1. So I mean, it's all just what ifs and maybes until the season starts. But I think it's just good that he's had the time in a couple of weeks to sort of start trying to instill his style of play and his philosophy, and hopefully we'll see that carry into the opening games and start playing some consistent football, score more goals than we had been towards the back end of last season, and hopefully kick on from there.
What formation is he likely to start with against Cardiff, Dylan, in your mind?
I mean, on paper, it probably looks like similar sort of thing we've been playing, like a 4-2-3-1 with sort of Dan Neil, Alan Brown, base of midfield, Job further in front, and obviously whatever selection of wingers he wants to go for, likely to be Clark and Roberts. But I think over at Lorient, he was playing a 3 occasionally, back 3 with wing backs, which obviously we've got the bodies in to be able to do so. I think it's quite a good problem to have, not knowing what formation we're going to go for for definite because we've got the squad and he's probably got the tactical know-how to be able to switch it up a bit, which should be good for us going forward.
Leo, there were a host of names, many names mentioned, from Frank Lampard to Rossigna to Pascal Janssen and of course Will Still, which we all thought was going to happen. In the end, do you think some of the fans were just happy to have a manager?
I think that was part of it, yeah. Definitely just happy to know that for that first game of the season, we will have someone in charge of our team. That wasn't Mike Dodds. That was definitely a positive to have. But I do also feel like, especially in pre-season, a lot of what I'm seeing people saying, even at halftime to Marseille when we're 1-0 down and look, the result and the score doesn't really matter in pre-season. It's more about the performance. And a lot of people were saying we're playing some of the best stuff they've seen in a while from us, because a lot of last season was just give the ball to Clark and hope he scores. That was it last season for a lot of the time. And then, I mean, you saw he was injured for, I think, 8-9 games he was missing, and we won one of them and lost 7. So, like Dylan says, it's good to know that there's a couple of different options he can go with, and it's good to know that he's comfortable in switching that up. I feel like a lot of people were talking about him getting relegated, but I saw about the club selling their best players before last season, and he had a mid-table finish with them the season before. So I think it's not just getting a person through the door. I think, like I said earlier, it is getting the right name. He looks like he could be comfortable.
Next week, we're going to focus, Cal, on the defence for Sunderland and just how good it is in terms of signings. But just a word on Alan Brown. Preston were obviously gutted to lose him. And how much do you agree with people's comments that what Sunderland lacked at times last year was leadership on the pitch? And how much do you think Brown's been signed because of that?
Yeah, I mean, we had Corey Evans the season before, and we lost him in the first half against Middlesbrough when we beat them 2-0 at our place. And then since then, you lack that sort of enforcer role in the middle of the pitch. And then your next oldest person in the team was Luke O'Nien, who was playing. I mean, Ross Stewart was obviously with us, but he was out injured as well. You look at Alan Brown and his progress in football, being at Preston, playing over 400 games for them, 28 years old, captain of the club. That's a lot of football. That's a lot of senior football, a lot of experience that he can bring into the team to be able to pass to Dan Neil, use it. I think that the games that I've seen him, he gets about the pitch and he reads the game really well. I think it was the pre-season, the first one when we played when we played in Spain, he sort of picked up that right back role when Hume was pressed further forward. And last season, don't think we really had a player that would drop into that position or read the game to be able to get themselves back. So yeah, I think that he's definitely going to bring a lot of experience and a decent play midfield battling style to the team as well.
Cool. And Dylan, just finally, we'll talk more about the attacking options in a couple of weeks. But Chris Rigg was rumoured to be attracting interest from some Premier League sides, including them Black and Whites, whose name we shan't mention. How pleased were you to hear him sign his contract with Sunderland?
Well, obviously, I was absolutely delighted, and I think as much as the club gets criticism for some aspects of recruitment and things like that, I think a lot of the hard work being done this summer has been sort of tying people down to deals. For example, Chris Rigg, and the fact that, if reported to be believed, he's turned down offers from the likes of Man United, Inter Milan, Bayern Munich. It just shows what sort of good work we are doing with our young players to sort of create a pathway here into first team football. And it's looking like Rigg's going to get some regular game time this season, and I think that's what's best for him in his career at this point. So no brainer for us, no brainer for him. Let's see him kick on, and then worst case scenario, we'll get a nice big fee for him next summer.
Right, it all starts then this Saturday, and Cardiff are in town. Let's talk to a Cardiff fan, shall we? Welcome, James, to Where Black Cats Walk from Cardiff City. James, I tell you what, Sunderland and Cardiff have both been in the news for reasons that we don't want to get into. So we are so glad football's back, aren't we?
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Sunderland won't have been happy to have Cardiff as the first visitors because you've got an incredibly good record, haven't you, at the Stadium LA?
Well, it's the games at the Cardiff City Stadium.
Sorry, big pardon, yes, but
Yeah.
so beg your pardon, yeah. Sorry. But you've got an incredibly good record against Sunderland.
Yeah. So, obviously last season we won away at their place 1-0, Mark McInnes. So as well, we've made some good signings. So I'm really looking forward to the game and seeing how these new players sort of gel into the team.
Just tell the Sunderland fans watching, and obviously the three here, what sort of shape Cardiff have been looking like in pre-season.
So a lot more attacking. I think that was the biggest concern was the style of football last season. We brought in a coach called Omar Riza. I think that's how he's saying his name. So he's got previous experience at sort of Watford and working with the Youth England setup. And his sort of role was sort of the in possession coach. So obviously when we're on the ball, making sure that we're being a bit more progressive with it. And I think we've definitely seen that through the pre-season with sort of how we're attacking with it, and we're sort of just getting forwards a lot quicker than we used to, or like we did last season.
And how do you rate Sunderland yourself, James? Do you see them as finishing higher than you this season?
It's hard to say. I mean, realistically for us now, the aim is going to be pushing for the top 6. We've made some decent signings at the moment. Obviously, Callum Chambers, El Ghazi, Chris Willock on a free from Queen's Park Rangers. So I definitely look at us pushing for a top 6. Whether we get there, that's a different story.
Okay, Leo, would you be confident of finishing above teams like Cardiff?
Yes. I think. Look, I think the top 2 is going to be only out of 3 teams who's going to finish in those 2 places. But I think those 4 playoff spots are up for grabs, just like last season, up for grabs by a lot of teams. And three losses in a row can see you drop down 10 places. 3 wins in a row can see you jump up 10. It's going to be another season like that, I think. I feel like Cardiff are definitely not going to be worrying down the bottom. I feel like they're going to be very strong mid-table, if not pushing for the top 6. I feel like we're the same. I just hoping we can get, like I say, just get a run of form, because we were looking for top 6 last season, and then, like I say, when Clark got injured, we dropped down to 15th or wherever it was, and hopefully that doesn't happen this season. But
all right, let's get some score predictions from you then. James, you can go first as the home side.
I'm going to go 2-1 Cardiff.
El Ghazi double, yeah?
No, he's not up to standard at the moment. He's a bit behind with the training, so I'm going to go with a player that's been firing for us pre-season, and that's going to be Callum Robinson.
Okay. Dylan, I'll pick on you for the score prediction this one.
I do think that since Ballard's out injured, the defence isn't going to be as solid as it would have been. So I think we'll concede, but I'm going to say 2-1 Sunderland. We'll say Jack Clark, and then whichever striker we've hopefully signed before that match rolls around.
I was going to say, who's going to score 2 goals? Crikey. It's optimistic. Right, cheers, James. Good luck to you. We are now going to rate some Sunderland shirts. Okay, Rate My Take. Each week we will pick out the best takes of Sunderland games from Twitter and ask you guys to rate them. You can get involved with that by on using Twitter, the hashtag Rate My Take. This week then we are looking at the shirts which have been put out by the club, and I'm going to say straight off, the away shirt I'm in love with. I think it's just Cal, I can't tell, is that the training top you're currently wearing, or?
Yeah, it's the training top. I didn't get online in time to actually get the away one. Sold out in 11 minutes or something.
I believe so, yeah. Let's get your thoughts on this one. And the tweet I've put on here is from Spread Exports, and just says about the away shirts, a thing of beauty. And then the treasured ship crest returning for the first time in 30 years. I do like that crest. It's both Leeds and Sunderland have gone with different crests on the away shirt, which is, I think, is pretty good. Leo, your thoughts on both?
Well, like you say about the badge, I'm hearing when we do release our third kit, it's going to be a different type of badge as well. But this is the first season where I've bought both kits on release day. At the end of the season, I might end up having both of them, but that might just be through a Christmas present or just whatever. But this is the first season in a long time where I've said I need to get them. And Carl's got the training top on. I mean, I need to give this to my friend, so I've still got it packaged away. But it's just everything about the away kit I love. All the small details. Yeah, I mean, even on the home kit with the ships going down, it's all the small details. We didn't want just another copy of when red and white stripes and then just some plain away kit, which is why I think we switched up to Hummel, who over the years have produced some bangers. But I love these kits.
Yeah, Hummel are great. I wish my team had Hummel. Dylan, your thoughts briefly?
Yeah, pretty much just same as what Leo said there. I think when the fans found out that we'd be going back to Hummel for this season, everyone was really excited because I think, like me, everyone else has been fed up of the Nike and the Adidas just standard rubbish templates season after season with no real thought or effort put into them. So to have these bespoke ones made, I think they're absolutely outstanding. I mean, if it was up to me, I'd be wearing the home kit right now for this, but I've been in the club shop twice and not been able to get it. And that lack of availability just shows how well received it's been, because it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack, getting a shop in one of the big boy sizes. Like,
okay, all right, time for some added time questions. Okay, it's 90 seconds of quick fire questions. Answer with one word or two word answers, if that's okay. Leo, we're coming to you first. Where will Sunderland finish this season?
5th.
Cal, which player has the most to prove to fans this season?
Romain Mundle.
Dylan, out of 10, how much faith do the fans currently have in the manager?
7.
Leo, out of 10, how much faith do the fans currently have in the board?
4.
Cal, if I could grant you one 6-0 win, any fixture this season, which one would it be?
Borough.
Home or away?
Oh, I thought you meant 6 point. I'm sorry. No, home or away? Home. I think we play them on the 21st, so yeah, Borough.
Dylan, which team is going to win the championship?
Burnley.
Leo, which team is going to finish 24th?
I can't look past Oxford.
And Cal, finish this sentence. This season I'm most looking forward to
Beating Leeds.
Funny how many people are going to answer the same question with the same.
That would have been my 6-0 answer. Leeds away.
Oh, the hatred that people have for them. Yeah, okay. Right. Thank you,
Just an
you
odd
three.
team.
This time next week, we're going to be discussing, obviously, the result of the Cardiff game, previewing the next game, and also get your view on all the defence, including goalkeepers at Sunderland. Thank you much for joining us this week. And if you're a Sunderland fan, please obviously subscribe and like the content and put comments below as to who you think, where you think, Sunderland are going to finish this season. Cheers very much, gentlemen. We'll catch you next week.